Early morning in Saint-Louis. The cool breeze from the Atlantic, which once blew treasure hunters, soldiers and slave traders from Europe into the mouth of the Senegal River, now brings tired fishermen home. On the other mornings, the wind comes from the Sahara, enveloping the spirit and memories of better times in a mist of pale yellow sand. The morning begins by the river, on the outskirts of town, with the little people, fishwives, traders, school children and taxi drivers who gradually flock to the island over two bridges. Once the ancient capital of Senegal, Saint-Louis ceased long ago to be the metropolis of a great West African empire. In 1659, the French were determined to settle on a pile of sand located in a swampy region which the local tribes avoided. They handed it over to a Norman for 92,000 thalers and a couple of casks of brandy. The site of a fort and a trading post, Île Saint-Louis, the island in the estuary of the Senegal River, attained that dubious fame which comes from greed and swiftly attained wealth. Signares Margot had a bad dream. In it, one of her ships sank in the river, and Signares Thérèse had 10 slaves more than her. Such were the worries that beset the rich and beautiful women of Saint-Louis in the 18th century. Had it not been for the Signares, the French would perhaps have given in to the adverse climate sooner than they did. Nor would the island have become a city whose beauty was once as legendary as that of its women. Saint-Louis was an anchorage on the trade route between India and South America, a French springboard for accessing the riches of the African hinterland. Fortune seekers came here, greedy for gold and ivory, animal skins and gum arabic, and helped by the local women and their contacts. But that was all in days gone by. The traders, the office workers, the school children and the taxi drivers have now arrived. They bring life to the last vestiges of upper middle class affectation and demonstrate a will to survive in places where luxury goods were once stored. What has remained are businesses and bustle, artistry and a talent for improvisation, and women, lots of women. Signares Margot knows all about the lascivious desires of the French, a 3-week voyage away from home. Red-faced and perspiring, they go into raptures over cherry-red lips and ebony skin. The black women comfort them in nights when the fever takes hold and present them with children. In return, they are given their freedom and the Roman Catholic faith. Mariage à la mode du pays, marriage in the manner of the country, turns concubines into well-provided-for heiresses when the husbands return to France or embark on new adventures. And their offspring form the new mulatto aristocracy. In time, through money and the manifold relations between black and white, the island in the estuary developed into a city. On a peninsula no more than 2,000 meters long and 300 meters wide, the Signares vied with one another through the splendor of their homes. Thatched huts gave way to 2-story stone houses. Balconies of carved wood or wrought iron adorned the outer facades under a projecting roof. Inside, the chambers of the master and mistress opened onto a gallery surrounding a patio. Located on the ground floor were the kitchen, the storerooms, and the accommodation for the slaves. the architecture of a part of the world's cultural heritage today. In danger of collapse, many of the upper floors are vacant. The courtyards are shared by families large and small. Women here get their hands dirty. Unclear matters regarding ownership and a shortage of money are an obstacle to renovation or simply to preservation. Île Saint-Louis, a town or a village, or neither. A colourful patchwork quilt of memories, faded visions. Grain of sand by grain of sand, the former capital of the French colonial empire in West Africa is being recaptured by Africa. Did she give Maïssa enough salt? She has lent out the slave to the trading company as a hand for the voyage upstream to the legendary town of Galam. Along the banks, warlike tribes lie in wait. Waiting too, though, are the treasures of Africa. Maïssa has been told to barter salt for gold. Signor Margot will have bracelets and earrings made and invest what is left in material, interwoven in blue and gold. Otherwise, the warehouses are full, the rooms richly decorated. Perhaps she needs a new lover? In the mid-19th century, the French sealed their claim to Africa vis-à-vis the other European powers. Governor Faidherbe, who gave his name to the metal bridge across to the mainland, was also an energetic renewer. Besides reinforcing the banks of the Senegal River and extending the road network, he reformed the administration and the school system. La Grande Crue, the once revolutionary steam-powered crane, stares doggedly in the direction in which Faidherbe's troops finally set out to conquer the hinterland. They were followed by the representatives of major commercial dynasties from Bordeaux and Marseille, young tyros who wanted to earn their spurs in the colonies. They built their empires along the quays, warehouses facing the water, mansions facing the town, around a whole block. Otherwise, they left nothing of permanence. No industry, no plantations. Their business was barter, as long as there was anything to barter. After Mauritania was made a separate territory, Saint-Louis became the forgotten north tip of Senegal, bypassed by ocean-going vessels for more than 40 years now. Up until the last century, the river was a crossroads for people and goods, and for human goods. Today, though, it's a market for fish, which is dried in the sun or smoked. That, too, is une affaire des femmes, women's work. From their perspective, the island seems almost like a mirage. The faces no longer reflect Franco-African togetherness. Merely the existence alongside one another of the various tribes, each with its own language and customs, who have ended up here on the border with Mauritania. people weather-beaten by the salt of the Atlantic, marked by the wind from the desert, and by the rough changes in the climate, which was hell for Europeans and is gradually abrading their stone legacies. Saint-Louis, the former capital, had links that extended as far as Sudan, Guinea, Dahomey, the Ivory Coast, and even Niger. A thought which today is as alien and as fleeting as the names of the former French colonial empires. The houses they built now seem lost, displaced. The home of people here is perhaps the chair outside the door, the chant of the muezzin, the island in the river. For many, the capital Dakar is unattainably far away. Wolof at home, French as the administrative language, and Arabic in the Quran school. Saint-Louis speaks with many tongues. The French permitted the construction of a mosque at a very early date. In the 19th century, under Governor Ferderbe, the schools and subordinate posts were open to locals. The Africans were essential as interpreters and mediators, and being integrated made them controllable. Today, Islam is like a corset holding this fragmented city together. The former rural inhabitants who've moved here, the little craftsmen, and the intellectuals who have remained in Saint-Louis. In the numerous Quran schools, children who perhaps have no future here do at least experience a common present. At the same time, the French school system continues to survive, and with it the look back or forward across the Atlantic to Europe. Signare Margot looks out on her town with a touch of nostalgia. What has remained of the extravagances of the Signares and their salons? What has remained of Europe's flirt with Africa? What has remained is an island in a state of flux. Its soul lies in the daily will to survive of its people, the African secret, which at times blossoms in a blaze of color, only to be covered once again by the dust of the desert. It's Friday. Signare Margot has put on her most beautiful dress and is going to visit her lady friends. In rooms heavy with scent, she'll smoke a pipe and listen to the whispered gossip, and have no idea that she is experiencing the most colorful period in the history of Saint-Louis.